American container gardeners spend $150 every spring on hanging baskets and patio pots that hummingbirds circle once and never return to, while 17 plants that cost between $2 and $30 sit in the back of every garden catalog. The nursery never opens to the right page, because nobody ever showed you the 17 container plants that turn 4 square feet of outdoor space into a hummingbird and songbird destination that works from April through October. These 17 plants cover every hummingbird range in the continental United States: desert, coast, mountain, and city. And they do it in pots, rail planters, and hanging baskets that fit any patio in America. And the one at number 11, that is the one the nursery industry has been quietly hoping you never figure out. Somewhere in this video is the story of a retired nurse on a 4th-floor Gulf Coast, Texas condo balcony who documented 2 different hummingbird species in the same year, 9 months apart, on the same 4 pots. Before plant number 1, drop your state in the comments right now. Your USDA zone completely changes which of these performs best in your yard. Plant number 1, sedum, autumn joy. Most American gardeners buy this for its flowers and unknowingly remove the one structure goldfinches return for every September. This 2026 plant of the year produces seed head clusters that American goldfinches target with precision. Cornell Lab confirms flock feeding on sedum seed heads in September and October across USDA zones 3 through 9. A pot costs between $6 and $14. Compare that to $40 of Niger seed that blows off a balcony before goldfinches find the feeder. The male in late summer transition plumage, shifting from bright yellow to olive, brown with sharp black wings intact, lands directly on the seed head and feeds, without moving for up to 4 minutes. The one fall mistake is cutting these stems during cleanup. Leave every seed head standing through October and goldfinch visits increase significantly. Cutting sedum before October removes what goldfinches return for. Mark the pot and leave it. But nature did not end with one answer. Plant number 2 attracts something entirely different, and most backyards are missing it completely. Plant number 2, salvia black and blue. Western container gardeners who skip this plant are missing the most documented hummingbird draw in southwestern balcony gardens. The black-chinned hummingbird has one feature most gardeners never see. The iridescent purple band at the base of its black throat only appears in direct sunlight, and a sun-exposed pot of this salvia on a west-facing rail creates exactly that angle. It grows across USDA zones 7 through 10 and costs between $5 and $10. One pot produces deep blue tubular flowers from June through first frost without deadheading. Cornell Lab documents black-chinned hummingbirds returning to the same container location across multiple seasons when tubular blue flowers are present. The mistake is placing this salvia in shade, full sun on a south or west rail doubles documented visit frequency compared to shaded positions. Place this salvia on your sunniest rail. Shade cuts visits in half and hides the throat feature, worth watching for. Tell me your state in the comments below. Your growing zone changes everything about which of these performs best in your yard. Plant number 3, fuchsia, hanging variety. Most American gardeners treat this as pure ornamental and never connect it to the one hummingbird that feeds year-round on the West Coast without migrating. Anna's hummingbird is present on western balconies from January through December, and the pendant downward, hanging flowers of a fuchsia basket match this species' documented preference for downward angle feeding. Fuchsia X hybrida grows in USDA zones 9 through 11 and costs between $8 and $18. One basket produces continuous bloom through the cool season when almost no other container plant is flowering. Cornell Lab confirms Anna's hummingbird as the only hummingbird reliably present on West Coast balconies in winter. The mistake is hanging baskets too high. Eye-level placement on a covered hook puts pendant flowers directly in the feeding zone this species returns to by habit. Hang fuchsia at eye level on a covered hook. Too high removes it from Anna's feeding zone entirely. And plant number 4 takes everything one step further. A plant so overlooked that most American nurseries stopped stocking it 20 years ago. Plant number 4, lantana, patriot. Dollar for dollar, This is the most underpriced container plant for attracting one of the most visually striking songbirds in North America. The painted bunting male carries a red body, blue head, and green back, documented as America's most colorful songbird, and Audubon Society records confirm this species visits dense flowering lantana clusters from June through September for the insects the blooms attract. Lantana camara grows as an annual across most of the country, and in USDA zones 9 through 11 as a perennial. One plant costs between $5 and $12, and produces continuous color from late spring through frost. The mistake southeastern gardeners make is placing lantana in a single isolated pot. Clustering 3 pots together creates the dense flower mass painted buntings, target most consistently in documented backyard records. Cluster 3 lantana pots together. A single isolated pot rarely produces the flower mass painted buntings target. Did you know this plant attracted this bird? Be completely honest in the comments. Plant number 5. Pineapple sage. The rufous hummingbird travels a longer migration route relative to body size than almost any bird on Earth, and most American container gardeners have never grown the late, blooming plant documented to fuel that journey through their own backyard. The male rufous is overall coppery, orange with an iridescent red throat, unmistakable in fall, and pineapple sage blooms August through October, precisely when rufous hummingbirds are actively migrating south and burning the most energy per day. Salvia elegans grows in USDA zones 8 through 10 and costs between $5 and $10. One container plant reaches 3 feet and produces bright red tubular flowers without any deadheading required. The mistake is starting pineapple sage too late. Plant by June, so it reaches full bloom exactly when rufous hummingbirds begin passing through your region. Start pineapple sage by June. Planted in August, it blooms too late to catch the rufous migration window. But nature did not end with one answer. Plant number 6 attracts something entirely different, and most backyards are missing it completely. Plant number 6. Million bells. Calabrachoa. There is a hummingbird in mountain gardens whose wings produce an audible high-pitched trill in flight, a sound most gardeners mistake for a large insect. And trailing Calabrachoa is the container plant documented to bring it to balcony rails, where most hummingbird plants fail. The broad-tailed hummingbird male has a rose-red throat and is common across mountain states from Colorado to Arizona. And Calabrachoa's small tubular flowers match this species' shorter bill better than larger flowered plants. It grows as an annual across all zones and costs between $4 and $8. One trailing plant fills a rail planter and blooms from April through October without stopping. The mistake is choosing large flowered petunia. The wider tube does not match the broad-tailed bill angle and documents fewer mountain balcony visits. Choose Calabrachoa over petunia on mountain balconies. The smaller tube matches the broad-tailed bill. But nature did not end with one answer. Plant number 7 attracts something entirely different, and most backyards are missing it completely. Plant number 7. Verbena, trailing variety. Most American gardeners treat verbena as decorative filler and never connect it to a songbird that arrives in spring before almost any other oriole reaches the eastern United States. The orchard oriole male is smaller and darker than the Baltimore oriole, deep chestnut, orange body with a black head and back, and Cornell lab records confirm this species visits trailing verbena clusters for both nectar and the insects the flowers harbor. Verbena X hybrida grows as an annual across all zones and costs between $3 and $8. One trailing plant covers a full rail planter and blooms from April through September. The mistake is tucking verbena against a wall as background filler. Positioning a window box at open railing height gives orchard orioles the visibility they need to locate and return to the plant across multiple spring visits. Position verbena at open railing height. Tucked against a wall, it loses the visibility orchard orioles need. Have you ever grown this plant or seen this bird in your yard? Drop it below. I read every comment. Plant number 8. Dwarf butterfly bush. Lo and behold. Most American gardeners have watched a house finch at a seed feeder without knowing the male's red coloration intensifies dramatically in June when a specific insect attracting plant is blooming close by. The male house finch reaches its most vivid carotenoid, rich red in summer breeding plumage, and butterfly bush, lo and behold, attracts the exact insect activity that drives that color, with house finches documented perching directly on flower spikes in June and July. Buddleia hybrida grows in USDA zones 5 through 9 and costs between $15 and $30. The dwarf form stays under 2 feet, making it the only butterfly bush variety suited to container growing without staking. The mistake is buying full-size butterfly bush. It outgrows any pot in one season and stops producing the dense spikes that attract finches. Always choose the dwarf lo and behold form. Full-size butterfly bush outgrows any pot in one season. But nature did not end with one answer. Plant number 9 attracts something entirely different, and most backyards are missing it completely. Plant number 9, Society Garlic. Most American gardeners dismiss this plant on name alone and never discover it holds a documented nectar record for the smallest bird in North America by body length. The Calliope hummingbird, male carries streaked magenta throat feathers that flare outward like a fan during display. Unlike any other hummingbird gorget in the country, and Society Garlic's lavender star flowers provide late-season nectar at high western elevations, where this species feeds before departure. Tolbagia violacea grows in USDA zones 7 through 10 and costs between $5 and $12. One container plant blooms from May through October and requires almost no watering once established. The mistake is growing Society Garlic only as an ornamental. A west-facing mountain balcony pot creates a late-season Calliope fueling stop that no commercial feeder replicates. West-facing mountain placement turns Society Garlic into a Calliope fueling stop no feeder matches. But nature did not end with one answer. Plant number 10 attracts something entirely different, and most backyards are missing it completely. Plant number 10, Angelonia, the summer snapdragon. Southwestern container gardeners, who buy this annual for color, are unknowingly growing one of the only plants documented to attract a finch most American birders spend years confusing with a young goldfinch. The lesser goldfinch male has a black back in western populations and a bright yellow underside, smaller and darker than the American goldfinch. And Angelonia produces seed pods in late summer that lesser goldfinches target in documented southwestern balcony observations. It grows as an annual across all zones and costs between $4 and $8. One plant blooms from late spring through first frost and self, seeds in warmer climates. The mistake is deadheading Angelonia all season. Allowing spikes to go to seed in August creates the exact pod structure that brings lesser goldfinches to southwestern container gardens. Stop deadheading all Angelonia by August. Allow seed pods to form and lesser goldfinches locate them within days. Tell me your state in the comments below. Your growing zone changes everything about which of these performs best in your yard. This is the plant I mentioned at the very beginning. Plant number 11, dwarf Cardinal Flower. In late summer, the ruby-throated hummingbird most gardeners expect, the territorial male with a red gorget, gives way to a population nobody told you to watch for. Juvenile birds and females dominate August and September sightings, identifiable by white spotted throats and no red gorget. And this compact lobelia is documented as effective for attracting late-season ruby-throated populations even in a 12-inch balcony pot. Lobelia cardinalis, compact, grows across USDA zones 3 through 9 and costs between $6 and $12. One plant produces red tubular spikes from July through September without staking. The honest limitation is moisture. This lobelia drops flower spikes in pots, left unwatered more than 3 days in summer heat, which most container gardeners discover too late. Keep Cardinal Flower moist. 3 dry days in July drops flower spikes before hummingbirds find it. But nature did not end with one answer. Plant number 12 attracts something entirely different, and most backyards are missing it completely. A retired nurse in Corpus Christi, Texas, Zone 9, planted 6 of these 17 plants on her 4th-floor condo balcony last spring. She had no yard. She had 4 square feet of open rail space and 1 covered hook. In January, before any neighbor touched their balcony, A buff-bellied hummingbird appeared at her rain lily pot, a winter resident species almost nobody in urban Texas knows exists. She photographed it and submitted the sighting to a bird, where it was verified as a confirmed urban balcony record. 9 months later, in September, a ruby-throated hummingbird appeared at the same dwarf Cardinal Flower pot, a fall migration staging bird fueling before its Gulf of Mexico crossing. 2 different hummingbird species, same 4 pots 9 months apart. Cornell Lab documents both, the buff-bellied as a year, round Gulf Coast resident, and the ruby-throated as a verified September staging migrant. She never bought a single feeder. Plant number 12, Biden's campfire marshmallow. Most American container gardeners have never planned for a bird that arrives in massive, unpredictable flocks some years and nearly vanishes in others. And this 2026 standout annual is documented to bring that bird to balcony seed heads when it does appear. The pine siskin is heavily streaked brown with subtle yellow wing flashes visible only in flight, an eruptive finch that descends on container gardens in large numbers during invasion years, and flock feeds on small seed heads. Biden's ferrulifolia grows as an annual across all zones and costs between $4 and $8. One plant produces abundant small seed heads from spring through frost without deadheading. The mistake is removing Biden's seed heads in fall. Leaving them standing through November gives pine siskin flocks a feeding platform in the years they arrive. Leave Biden's seed heads through November. Siskin flocks locate small clusters fast in invasion years, but nature did not end with one answer. Plant number 13 attracts something entirely different, and most backyards are missing it completely. Plant number 13, dwarf sunflower suncredible. The pine warbler is the only warbler species in North America documented to eat seed. Every other warbler is insect only, and most American gardeners have never seen one because nobody told them which container plant brings it in. The pine warbler has an olive, yellow body with faint white wing bars and visits sunflower seed heads in winter, making dwarf sunflower the one container plant documented to bring this species to balconies that would otherwise never see a warbler. Helianthus hybrida, suncredible grows as an annual across all zones and costs between $3 and $6. One plant stays under 3 feet and produces sunflower heads from June through October. The mistake is removing spent heads immediately. Leaving dried heads standing through November gives pine warblers a seed source no other warbler in America will touch. Leave dwarf sunflower heads standing through November. Pine warblers locate dried seed heads and return across multiple winter visits. Have you ever grown this plant or seen this bird in your yard? Drop it below. I read every comment. Plant number 14, trailing nasturtium. Desert container gardeners grow this $2 annual for color, while missing the hummingbird whose throat feathers extend so dramatically, they look like a costume piece. Costa's hummingbird male has a deep violet, purple crown and gorget extending in long pointed whiskers past both sides of the head, unlike any other North American hummingbird, and compact nasturtium varieties are documented as a preferred foraging plant for this desert, adapted species in southwestern container gardens. Tropaeolum minus grows as an annual across all zones and costs between $2 and $5. Compact plant blooms from spring through early summer without deadheading. The mistake is choosing large trailing varieties. The compact bushy form fits Costa's smaller foraging range and keeps flowers accessible rather than cascading out of reach. Compact nasturtium only large trailing forms push flowers past Costa's foraging reach. But nature did not end with one answer. Plant number 15 attracts something entirely different, and most backyards are missing it completely. Plant number 15, dwarf zinnia profusion. The indigo bunting in full breeding blue is one of the most searched backyard birds in America. But in late summer, most gardeners mistake it for a different species because nobody explained what it looks like in August. The male begins showing brown edging through its electric blue plumage as fall molt starts, a patchy appearance that confuses gardeners expecting solid blue. Cornell Lab documents indigo buntings, visiting dwarf zinnia seed heads from balcony rail planters in suburban edges, August through September. Zinnia hybrida, profusion grows as an annual across all zones and costs between $2 and $5. One plant fills a rail planter and blooms from June through frost. The mistake is deadheading every zinnia head. Leaving some standing from August creates the seed access indigo buntings, locate during fall molt. Leave some zinnia heads from August, indigo buntings in fall molt visit seed heads. Most gardeners remove too soon. Tell me your state in the comments below. Your growing zone changes everything about which of these performs best in your yard. Plant number 16. Rain lily. Most Gulf Coast container gardeners have never planted for a hummingbird that stays through the American winter because nobody told them one exists year-round on their own balcony. The buff-bellied hummingbird has an olive, green back, buff, orange belly, and a long red and black bill, one of the only hummingbirds remaining in the continental United States through winter, documented along the Texas Gulf Coast from December through February. Zephyranthes spp. Grows in USDA zones 7 through 10 and costs between $5 and $12. Rain lily blooms appear suddenly after rainfall and provide nectar. Buff-bellied hummingbirds use opportunistically in winter when almost nothing else flowers. The mistake is treating rain lily as passive ornamental. An open south-facing exposure ensures post-storm blooms are visible to hummingbirds scanning for nectar in January and February. Position rain lily in an open south-facing exposure. Post-storm blooms hidden against walls are missed by buff-bellied hummingbirds scanning for winter nectar. Did you know this plant attracted this bird? Be completely honest in the comments. Plant number 17. Jewelweed native container. Grown. Every plant on this list served one bird in one season. This final plant serves the same species as plant 11, but at a far more dramatic moment. The ruby-throated hummingbird on the Atlantic coast in September is not the summer territorial male. It is a fall migration staging bird fueling before crossing the Gulf of Mexico, one of the most demanding single flights in North American migration. Audubon Society documentation identifies jewelweed as one of the most important native fueling plants for this migration event. No other container plant on this list holds that role. Impatiens capensis grows across USDA zones 2 through 11 and costs between $4 and $10. The mistake is skipping jewelweed for looking informal on an Atlantic coast balcony in September. It does what no ornamental annual will ever do. Grow jewelweed on Atlantic coast balconies in September. No ornamental annual performs the migration fueling role this native holds. Subscribe to The Bird's Garden. The plants that bring birds to your yard are out there. We find them every week. You are not done yet. 3 things about container birds and plants that almost no American gardener ever learns in one place. First, hummingbirds have documented spatial memory and return to the exact container location where they fed the previous season, even if the plant is gone. Placing your first container correctly in year 1 builds a return route that costs nothing in year 2. Second, pine siskin eruption years follow western conifer seed crop failures, meaning a bad cone year in the Rockies sends siskin flocks into suburban balcony gardens. Bidens and dwarf sunflower seed heads left standing by October are ready when that movement happens. Third, the buff-bellied hummingbird is expanding its documented winter range northward, with verified eBird records now appearing in Louisiana balcony gardens, where this species was not recorded a decade ago. A starting budget of $40 to $60 covers 6 of these 17 plants for any zone in America. You just received zone-accurate dollar-grounded bird and garden wisdom that most channels never put in one place. Subscribe now and turn on the bell. One clear action for every gardener watching this right now. Pick the region that matches your address, not your wish list. If you are on the Gulf Coast, rain lily and jewelweed are your 2 non-negotiable plants before anything else on this list. If you are in the Mountain West, Society garlic and calabrachoa on a west facing rail covers 2 hummingbird species most mountain gardeners have never intentionally attracted. If you are in the desert Southwest, compact nasturtium and salvia black and blue in full sun cover costas and black-chinned hummingbirds for under $15 total. Start with 2 plants matched to your zone and your season, not 17. Every container on this list that is started correctly and placed in open exposure will produce documented bird visits within 1 season. That is not a promise. That is what the Cornell Lab, Audubon Society, and 40 years of backyard bird records confirm across every region on this list. Every season, American gardeners spend money on containers that produce flowers and no birds. Not because they made a wrong choice, but because the right information never reached them at the right moment. This video covered 17 plants and 17 birds across every region in the continental United States: desert, coast, mountain, and Gulf Coast. The plants cost between $2 and $30. The birds span every major hummingbird range and songbird family from January through October. Subscribe to The Bird's Garden. Every week we put bird and garden knowledge in your hands that most gardeners spend years learning the hard way. The plants that bring birds to your yard are still out there. We find them.